Hi friends, welcome to the first and probably the only episode of It's Cooking Time with Sophie. Today we're going to make a gourmet meal. It's called 2-minute noodles with an egg, or as the French would call it, je ne sais pas de faux. And it takes about 2 minutes to make. Now the first step is to open up the packet. And we're just going to pour all of the contents into the bowl. Now, the key here is to really get all of the ingredients into the bowl, which Sophie hasn't done. And then we just want to break it up into, see how crunchy it is? Oh! Break it up. You should see my desk right now. Break it up into tiny little pieces. See if you can get a view of my desk right now. Oh, and there goes my light. And the next step is to crack an egg into the bowl. Now the key is to try to not get any eggshell in the bowl, which Sophie has never succeeded at. Ready? So we're going to crack it like this into the bowl. Now, the good news is that if you have accidentally gotten some eggshell in, which I have, there is a trick. Don't try to get it out with your finger or with a spoon. It will never work. But what we can actually do is use the eggshell. And there you go. See? The eggshell gets the eggshell out, so there's no more eggshell in the bowl. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now, the next step is to get the egg off your hands. And then, see, I've got this packet of seasoning. I grew all the herbs and the spices myself, and then I put them in this packet, but you can just use something that your mum bought from the store. Pop that in there. And the next step is to boil the kettle. Now, I've already pre-boiled this kettle. But the key to boiling the kettle is that you have to push the button on. If you haven't pushed the button, then you're doing it wrong and you're going to ruin the whole entire meal. Now we're just waiting till we hear the click. Ready? Ready? It's coming, it's coming. There we go. Oops. And that means that you are now ready. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Ready to pour all the water on. And the next step is, not to burn your finger. Maybe let mum and dad pour the boiling water. To put a lid over the top, and we're just going to let that simmer and let the noodles really absorb all of the flavors. I'm trying to think of cooking words, and that is the best I can come up with. Now, while we wait for that to be ready, I'm going to read you a story. This is called The Hidden Forest by Jeannie Baker. Jeannie Baker is an incredible writer and illustrator. She creates all of these collages herself using natural resources. So she went out and found actual seaweed, leaves, shells, rocks, and put them all together to create these scenes. Down in the dark, tangled world of the weed, there are big fish and small fish. Ben knows they are there, but time after time, only tiddlers, those are tiny little fish, come up in his fish trap. Ben empties them out in disgust to let them die. He wants something much bigger. This time, when he tries to raise the trap, it will not move. Ben yanks at it with all of his strength. Suddenly, the dinghy flips from under him and he tumbles into the sea. Dinghy is a small boat. Ben opens his eyes to a blurry underwater world. He feels the slimy kelp is a seaweed, slimy kelp slide over him. He senses dark movement. What was that? Ben panics. He is afraid some unknown creature will grab his legs as he scrambles back into the dinghy. Did he see something, or was it just his imagination? The kelp clings to his oars and won't let him go. Ben Ben eventually rose free of the kelp and calms down. He must recover his trap, but he will need the help of a friend who can dive down to untangle it. He thinks of Sophie. You can see why I like this book now. Sophie is a strong diver. She agrees to help if Ben will come to see the world under the waves with her. Ben gazes at the surface of the water, but it's like a mirror. He worries about what might be lurking below and cautiously lowers himself into the sea. To his surprise, Ben finds himself floating above a mysterious underwater forest that sways back and forth with the rolling of the waves. Gigantic golden trees of kelp reach toward the sun. Shafts of sunlight shimmer in their branches. Ben anxiously waits while Sophie untangles the trap. At last, it's free. Oh, I would love to be there right now. Sophie holds out her hand to Ben and takes him to explore the different kelps growing near the rocky shore. Ben holds onto a piece of bull kelp and rides with it as it sways and stretches with the tide. When the kelp touches him, it feels like velvet swirling against his skin. He parts some kelp to reveal rock alive with all kinds of strangely beautiful textures. Oh, look at that beautiful pink color. I know some of you love the color pink. Yes, Hendrix, I know you don't like pink. I can hear all my children's voices in my head right now. Sophie shows Ben how he can hold his breath and dive down into the forest to look for sea dragons. A sea dragon is a lot like a seahorse, except seahorses are about this big and sea dragons are about as tall as this book, and they've got beautiful fins that look like seaweed, so it's a bit hard to find them in the kelp. Sensing a presence behind him, Ben turns. Look, who can see what's behind the seaweed? If you didn't understand that, it means you can't speak whale. Oh, look. Ben is looking right into the eye of the whale. Can you see that? A whale, watching him closely, glides gently by. Ben is overwhelmed with wonder. They catch glimpses of its dark, gleaming shape rolling and sliding against the kelp as it passes on around the bay. Has anyone been to a beach that looks like this? Yes, all of us have. We're very, very lucky to be living in Australia where we have 12,000 beaches to explore. Together they pull up the fish trap. Ben gazes in fascination at his catch. Look at the beautiful rainforest. I bet a lot of birds live in there. But now Ben sees things differently. He sees how wonderful these creatures are. Here in their mysterious hidden world, he feels this is where they belong. See, he's letting them all go back home. And that is the end. And now you know that beneath the ocean there are hidden forests of kelp. And as you can see, the seaweed here looks a little bit like noodles. So let's see if ours are ready. Not quite, the egg's still a bit runny, but anyway, there we go. 2-minute noodles. And thank you for joining me on It's Cooking Time with Sophie. I missed you, all of my little wildlings and little angels, and I can't wait to see you soon. Toodles. I would just like to add that 2-minute noodles are a sometimes food. Sophie would have cooked you vegetables, only her Coles delivery doesn't come till next week. So for now, this is what we get, a bowl of slop. Bellissimo.